Hi there, Joka here. Welcome to my channel. This is my very first video of 2021, so I'm wishing you all a happy new year. Let's hope it's gonna be a much better one than 2020. I'm happy to be joining the Altenew Build a Flower Cora Louise Peony Layering Stamp and Die set release today. I haven't been doing anything for Altenew for a long time, so I'm very excited about being back with quite a few projects this month. So this is the first one. As I showed you just a second ago, all Altenew stamp sets, layering stamp sets and stamp sets, they come with inspiration guides, so you can see a few examples of cards that you can make. And also this one is a layering set, so it will have the layering guide on the back, which I set to the set aside just off to the left so I can see it. But this one is actually very easy to layer. So I am now basically mass producing the same thing in different colors. I showed you the colors that I chose earlier, and I did not cut this out from the video because I wanted to show you all the colors of inks that I'm using, at least the first two layers. And all you need to know is that I'm using always, I think 95% of the time, I'm using the same. So like it's always a set of 4 colors for Altenew, right? So it's they are matching coordinating colors, like the same shade, sorry, different shade of the same color. And I don't really mix and match because that just takes too much time. This is easy, already done, no thinking needed. So if I show you the first color, which is the lightest color, then you will know which set I'm using for the layering. This is 4 layers. So I kind of, because it's January 1st, I always associate that with the rainbow. I kind of went with a soft pasta kind of rainbow theme here. So I'm stamping all the flowers twice because I don't know yet what I'm gonna do with them. As in, I have no idea what card design I want to do. And besides the colors, I also stamp one in gray because I want to do one card with a colorful background and then with gray flowers, and the other one maybe the opposite, like colorful flowers and then gray background. So that's all I know for now. Okay, so this is the second layer, super easy to align. And what you saw maybe here a bunch of times is that just before the first stamping, I'm using an eraser on the stems. I learned this trick from Miana's Makula back in the day. This is so that the ink doesn't pull on the stamp, and it's, you know, your image is not going to be blotchy. I think, well, in my experience at least, this helps a lot. So I always do this step. All right, so yeah, I'm just basically mass producing now. This is the second layer, and I think for the next layers I did not leave all the colors in because it's super boring to watch the same thing happening over and over. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to show you all the colors. But I will also add all the products and colors that I use down below in the description box, like I always do. All right, so yeah, I really wanted to say something, but now I'm forgetting. I'm not sure. But anyway, in the next days, I will have a bunch of videos for Altenew. I really enjoyed working with the new products. I hope you will like them too and will find the projects inspiring. Okay, so moving on. This is already the third layer. So as we go, you know, with the layer by layer, it's always from God, I'm forgetting my words, from lightest to darkest, um, and that's how you get all these dimensional looks on your images. And now this is actually the well, this is like an extra layer just for the middle of the flower, and I believe the fourth layer would be the outline, actually, which I'm gonna do in a second, and you will see it. I will do something a bit different. So now I'm also stamping some leaves in those empty spots on the cardstock, just so I'm not wasting anything. And the leaves are 2-layer stems and one outline, which I am going to use on these ones. Yeah, so now it's just stamping and stamping and stamping. I like to do this like on like an assembly line kind of um, thing because it's much quicker. But yeah, sometimes, you know, if you have to be careful, because if you mess up a step, then you mess up 7, 8 cards that I'm stamping now. Okay, so this is the outline, and actually I did not line this up correctly, but then I decided that I can live with it. It was not super off, but not perfect. But still, the die, you know, the coordinating die always cuts a little bit of white edge around the images, so it's okay. So these are the colors that I'm going with. And now what I decided to do, I did not want to add the harsh black or dark outline. So I thought I might as well try something a bit different, and I will emboss these with white embossing powder. And I really like the look. I think it looks really soft and pretty. Now, in retrospect, the one thing I wouldn't do, I don't have experience with this. You know, when I emboss something, I usually just do one at a time, and I don't mass produce things like this. Excuse me. So I don't know if this always happens or I did something wrong. I'm not sure about this, but so again, I was trying to work assembly line style. So I um, inked up my stamped it with the sticky ink. Then I poured embossing powder on everything, and then I set them all aside. So I did not emboss, or I didn't use my heat gun yet. But when I did all of this, by the time I started my heat gun, the whole thing just looked like the embossing powder disappeared. So while I had a really nice coverage when I when I stamped it and poured the embossing powder over it, I did not have that later. So it was kind of like missing in spots. I don't know if this is because of the time, that it was set aside. I don't know. So maybe you want to do it one by one. Anyway, this is just my experience from this one time. Here I am creating my 2 card bases. I decided to go with slimline cards. These are 3.5 by 8.5 inches, that is. And because I stamped so many flowers, I figured I might as well use them. So I wanted some bigger format. And then, for one of them, I added some gray cardstock for the background. And for the other card, I decided to add some strips of cardstock, and these I matched the colors I matched to the flowers. And yeah, I don't know how to trim like smaller, like for instance 1 inch or half an inch, like here, from cardstock with this type of guillotine trimmer. So what I do is, maybe you could see it. I trimmed 2 inches first, and then I moved it half an inch to the right, and then I know that the strip is half an inch. But my last one, the purple one, is going to be a bit bigger. I don't mind. I like that look. You will see what I mean. I have a bit bigger space here. I could have also done, like all kinds of different sizes of strips, to be honest. It would have looked um, good, I think. I'm not sure why I wanted to do these half-inch ones, but okay, no problem. So I glued these down, and then just to add something a little extra, I will stitch these down. You will see in a bit that I added some white machine stitching. And now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with these flowers, how I want to arrange them, but I settle on that design that you just saw. And now I am adding my sentiment, and I totally messed this up. If you can see here, it's kind of blotchy. Although I have to say this sentiment itself is, it has these ragged lines, so that confused me as well. I didn't quite realize that, but anyway, I'm not going to kind of fix this. I cut a piece of white cardstock, and I will try to stamp it better this time. And then I will just add that layer of paper on top of the one that wasn't so great. Yeah, this one is a bit, it looks better. Okay, so I'm going to add this on top, and then now here you can see the stitching. I really like the, I don't know, maybe it looks a bit like patchwork. I really like that look. So I'm trimming off the excess because I always have a little bit hanging off here and there. So I'm just trimming all those things off. Then yeah, there's a stitch there that my machine somehow missed, and I'm trying to fix that. Although honestly, I don't know why I even bothered, because it's not like it has to be perfect, right? Now I am going to add these flowers, and for the flowers themselves, I'm going to use some foam tape just to add some dimension, and the leaves I will just glue down with liquid adhesive. And this card is almost done, although I still felt like something was missing, and you will see in a second what I'm gonna add. I think it's one of my most favorite and most used embellishments ever, and whoever invented enamel dots should get some medal, I think, because they are just awesome. So Altenew has a lot of enamel dots, and I I don't have too many, but I think I have like 6 different colors, and then this mixed pack, I think that's from one of their scrapbook collections. And so I'm trying to find colors that are matching my cardstock strips. I didn't have all of them from Altenew, so that little smaller pack is from, I don't know, from some random brand. but I did have most of the colors. And yeah, and now I'm gonna press these down so that they stay put forever, and that's it. This is the first card done. And I'm going to start on my second card, which is basically, I most of the time I don't only make one card, and then I try to coordinate the cards that I'm making, like little sets, set of two, set of three, and then I post them on Instagram as is, just like little card sets. So what I'm doing here, I believe I used Nina 80-pound cardstock for the stamping, and that's kind of thin. So I'm adding some heavyweight cardstock to the backs because I want to add foam tape to these, and the 80-pound cardstock is just not strong enough. It doesn't hold up really well. So I arrange them the way I want them, and then I'm adding some washi tape that is not so sticky to the top. And now you will see that it's still sticky because I pulled off a layer. So luckily I had two of this, two of every color, so I'm just replacing it with the other purple flower, and then I will glue everything down. Of course, I ruined my foam tape there as well, so I will have to replace that little small part hanging off at the bottom. But that's okay. I mean, these things happen, right? Tell me I'm not the only one that messes up things every time. Really, if you watch my videos, then you know every single time something goes wrong. All right, so trimming off the excess. I didn't really want to have overhang on this card, so that's why I trimmed it off. I think it looks better, at least to my eyes. And now I found some dark gray smooth cardstock, and I will use this for my sentiment, which I am also going to white emboss. And it actually turned out really nicely, I think. Yeah, so I am just going to trim that down to the exact same size as the card is wide. So I think, yeah, 3.5 inches, like I said before. And I decided to add some foam tape to this as well. And eventually, I don't know how I noticed this, but I kind of felt like the sides of it, left and right, I didn't like the way that was on the card. I don't know how to explain this, but in the end, I glued down the two sides, so it looks almost like this sentiment strip is, how should I explain this? That it's wrapped around the card, basically. I was looking for the word wrap. I don't know, maybe it's silly, but I just didn't like the edges when it was just hanging in the air somehow. But I like the way that it looks now, so it's all good. And now I'm coming in with enamel dots again because I never seem to get enough of them. And I really, really like the way that looks in the end. It's very hard to stop. I only wanted to add some enamel dots in the middle, actually, so the pink and the green ones, but then I just couldn't stop, and this is the same all the time. Yeah, so I am finishing this off with the enamel dots, and then I'm just going to press them down. I'm always using my tweezer, the back of my tweezers for this, because if I do it with hand, it just it hurts, to be honest with you. And sometimes, when they are tucked into in between the flowers, I also cannot really reach them. All right, so that was it. these are the first cards for this year, and the first ones for Altenew as well. I hope you will be back for the next ones. In a couple of days, I'm going to have a lot of videos for you. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.